Yep, everything's set. Woof, woof, woof. We back, baby, we back. I want to welcome everyone coming in. Welcome to the Noisy Fox Free Mom Baby stream. I almost forgot what I do in the intro. But today we got a very important thing to talk about. You see, in my life, I see quite a bit. I see quite a bit because, you know, when you're going through this type of journey, you're more aware of what you see. And I know quite a bit of people who go through this because I used to go through this. So I wanted to kind of spread some, you know, insight and maybe give some value to someone who may be, you know, experiencing the same type of thing. So today we're going to be talking about how to get the past out of your head. It could be a certain relationship. It could be a certain circumstance that happened. It could be another experience that happened. It could just be someone who's on your mind constantly and just living there rent free. Just anything that could be on your mind in the past. And today we're going to learn, or at least I'm going to spread some insight on how I do it to help you guys so that you guys can become better and grow like daisies in the grasslands. Do daisies grow in the grasslands? I'm not sure. But I hope you guys having a good ass day, and let's just get right into it. You see, I'm gonna start it with the relationships because I feel like that's the most relatable in terms of now. You see, in relationships, people go through a lot of BS. They go through a lot of bullshit, and they don't know how to get over the person. Well, you see, if you are ever in a relationship and you are with someone, you have to realize that you are with that person because you chose to be with that person. Understand that the other person has no power over you unless you let that person change your internal condition. Let me give you for an example. Like I said in my previous video, no one on the outside has power over you, over your internal condition unless you let them. So example, if Jeff comes up to me, or not Jeff, if Jeff comes up to Sarah and they're in a relationship, you know, they're cute couple, you know, they're always together, blah blah blah, they always treat each other good, but all of a sudden Jeff starts to just be out of hand. So Sarah wants to break up with Jeff, or Jeff wants to break up with Sarah for whatever reason. I don't know what's wrong with him. Jeff is cuckoo sometimes. So he breaks up with Sarah, but for some reason, Sarah can't get Jeff out of her mind. You see, when we're in this position, and this can be happening for men too, since I did it with Sarah first, I'm going to get into the men. You see, for example, when Sarah is, you know, in this relationship, she has to realize that Jeff was not good for her. So to get someone off of your mind in a relationship, understand that the person you were with was probably not good for you, and you got to realize that that person was not good for you, and you need to learn how to let them go. You need to learn that the person who is in your mind, who you let them live there, is only there because you are giving your attention to it. Now, for some reason, negative energy is addicting. It's literally like a drug. It's harder to be positive than negative. For example, when you go to the movies and you watch a horror movie, I believe that a lot of people can agree that horror movies are entertaining. When you watch the news, when CBS News, Fox News, blah, 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 put on their bad news, you watch it and it's addicting to watch because it's bad news, which is negative news. Fear is negative. But why is it so addicting? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it has to do something with the fight or flight system in the brain. I don't know. But for some reason, negative energy is addicting. And you see, when we're going through a bad breakup, when people are going through a bad breakup, we let the other person who hurt us live in our mind by giving them constant attention and focus in our mind. You see, when your internal condition is messed up, your outside world will be messed up too. So what happens is, if you bring that same type of mindset, if you bring in that same type of negative energy that you acquired from the past relationship, you will bring it and attract it into your next relationship. So how do you get past that? Well, first you have to realize that the person you were with was not good. So what I would tell Sarah is realize that Jeff was not good to you. He hurt you. It was not for you. He made your life a living hell. You need to realize first that the person you were with, Jeff, was not good for you. So learn to realize that first, because you can't fix a problem without realizing it. A fire truck cannot be notified that there's a fire in someone's house unless they're notified. So understand that there's a fire first. Understand and realize that there is a fire first. And then what you have to do? One thing that the universe loves to do. I don't know why it does this. Well, actually, I do know why, but I don't really know why. I don't really know anything. But the universe, it loves to send us messages and it loves to send us lessons. And it does that through people. You see, people who come into your life are trying to teach you a lesson. They're trying to give you an experience that will make you better than you were just a second ago, just a minute ago, just a day ago. And it does this by sending you the right people at the right time, or sending you these types of people at the right time, just to make sure you learn your lesson. So what I would tell Sarah is, when she's in this relationship, she needs to first understand that Jeff was simply a lesson sent from the universe. Maybe I'll go into the universe thing, because maybe people are confused on what I'm talking about. Maybe, I don't know, but maybe I got a whole lot to talk about. But you see, first, Sarah is, yep, I can relate. Hey, welcome Zandy Juice. Welcome. And you know, with Sarah though, when she's in this position, if you can relate to that, I'm gonna get into the men too, by the way. I started with Sarah first because she was just the first one that popped up to my head. But you see, you first have to realize that the universe sent you a lesson. When Jeff came in your life, Sarah, and he did this, blah, 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 blah. He hurt you, blah, blah, blah. He spoke to you like this, blah, 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 blah. He is simply teaching you a lesson that you need to work on. Understand that Jeff did nothing wrong. It's all you. So what I would tell Sarah is realize, extract the lesson. Extract the lesson by realizing it in your head, because while you're doing all that thinking, and while you're giving that person all your energy, and while you're constantly ruminating over the past, and while you're constantly going over what happened and overthinking what happened in the relationship, you need to be extracting the lesson. The universe sent you, Jeff, to teach you a damn lesson. You better learn it. The only way how to get over the past is to get the lesson and then realize that it's trying to make you better. Use the lesson that you learned in real life and then move on. You see, when Sarah is doing all this thinking in her head, she is overthinking about what could happen. She is overthinking about what happened, but she's not in the present. She's not in the right now. And when you are not in the right now, you are not looking at the bigger picture, because you're focused on what could happen in the future. You don't know the future. You're focused on what happened in the past. It already happened. Why are you trying to change it? Why are you trying to change the past? So what people do is they overthink about the past. You're overthinking about something that already happened. Why? Do not do that to give your energy to someone who is not giving a damn about you. So what I would tell Sarah is, to get over that person, what she needs to do is realize that she is simply being taught the lesson. Extract the lesson while you're doing all that overthinking in your mind. Extract the lesson and apply it into real life. Sarah, I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing good. But you see, when you start to realize that this is simply a lesson that you were supposed to be taught, you start to realize that every other relationship that you go into is simply just a lesson to make you better. And then you'll stop seeing that, oh, I gotta do this, you know, I gotta have the best woman, oh, I gotta have the best man, oh, I gotta get my quick nut, oh, I gotta get my quick one night stand, or whatever people talk about. Every relationship you have is a lesson. Every relationship you have is to make you better. You best extract the lesson so that you can apply it into the next relationships. Now, what did Sarah learn from this? Sarah learned how to look within. And that's one of the biggest lessons anyone can learn on this planet. If everyone knew how to look within, if everyone stopped blaming the other person, if everyone stopped having arguments with someone else because they're not looking on the inside, if everyone knew that everything that happens outside, which is the law of correspondence, happens to you inside, if everyone knew that whatever happens to you on the inside changes your outside world, we wouldn't have a government. But I'm not going to get into that. That's later. Understand that when you look inside, you are doing yourself a huge favor. Yo, You are doing yourself a huge favor. Zanny Juice, you can agree that we need to look inside. We need to look. And if everyone did that, imagine how powerful everyone knew that they were. See, people think that the power is on the outside. Oh, to protect myself, I need a gun. Oh, to protect myself, I need nunchucks. Oh, to protect myself, I need to have some type of weapon. When you externalize your power, you become weaker. But what if I told you all you need to protect yourself is learn self-defense? You see, now you start to look inside, and now you start to use yourself, and then you realize the power is all within you. The power is all within you. And if people don't realize that, we will forever be weak. You see, I say this in every video, but people need to understand this. You are literally made of the same iron, carbon, and nitrogen made in the goddamn stars. You are literally made of the goddamn universe. You are stardust, baby. You are stardust. Do not let your power be taken away by someone who doesn't give a damn about you. Someone who doesn't give a damn about you is not constantly overthinking like you are. So what I would tell Sarah is to get over that person. Extract the lesson, take it, and put it into next relationships. But then also, what does Sarah else need to do? Now, if you guys everyone joining in chat, if you guys don't know who I'm talking about, Sarah and Jeff, they're mythical creatures. They're not real. I had to go into this in my previous video. People were just going off on them. I'm like, they're not real. But you see, Sarah needs to realize that she is focusing on a fire, and her focus and attention is making it grow. You see, let me give you an example. When you are overthinking, when you are putting those thoughts in your head, okay, the guarantee of safety in a battering relationship can never be based upon a promise from the perpetrator, no matter how heartfelt. Rather, it must be based upon the self-protective capability of the victim. Until the victim has developed a detailed and realistic contingency. Wow, you are using big words. I'm gonna have to look up some of them. And realistic contingency plan, and has demonstrated her ability to carry it out, she remains in danger of repeated abuse. Wow. I gotta look up some of those words. I gotta look up some of those words. Okay, we're gonna learn something today. We're gonna learn something today, y'all. Let me bring up chat. Wait, I can't do the thingamabogger. No, it won't let me. Okay, well, let me just bring this up. Put that there. And then contingency equals backup plan. Okay, well, there are some other words in there that I'm curious to know. Battering. Sounds like beating. Battering, the action of striking repeatedly with hard blows. Okay, I was right. I just wanted to make sure. The guarantee safety in a battering relationship can never be based upon the promise of a perpetrator, no matter how heartfelt. Rather, it must be based upon the self-protective capability of the victim. Until the victim has developed a detailed and realistic contingency backup plan and has demonstrated her ability to carry it out, she remains in danger of repeated abuse. Yeah, but I use it in a metaphorical sense, and that it can be physical and psychological. So what would you say for Sarah when she is, I don't know if you just joined, so Sarah is learning, but she's learning to defend herself from emotional and psychological when she looks inside. That's her self-defense. Exactly. That's right. You see, like I said, the power is all in you. The power is all in you, and all she needs to do is look within herself. You see, but like I was saying though, when she is overthinking and blaming the other person, oh, they did this to me, oh, blah, 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 did this to me. When Jeff in reality did nothing wrong. He was simply being himself. But he was there to teach you a lesson. So what Sarah needs to do is she needs to look within, extract the lesson. And another thing, get on your grind. This is what I had to do. This is what I had to do to practice getting over things when they were eating at my mind. You see, in my journey, what I used to do is I used to first realize extract the lesson, and then find something that made me smile. Now, I know this sounds a little cringe. This sounds a little cringe. Oh, you putting on a smile. Yes, it may sound a little cringe, but don't care. I don't care. You see, when you are looking for something that makes you smile, you are replacing, or rather not say replacing, you are changing the spell. Now, I said a long time ago, and this is going to get a little deep. A long time ago in some previous videos, words are spells. For example, I think we can all agree that if someone calls you beautiful, you feel a certain type of way. Or if someone calls you ugly, you feel a certain type of way. Or anything you are called, the words you are taking in through your senses is being plugged into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind takes that and says, okay, whatever I'm hearing must be true. Now, what is magic? Magic is simply the movement of energy. You see, when you talk, you are using energy. You're talking, your words is literal magic, but they don't tell you that. They tell you, oh, a fireball coming out of my hands is magic. No, magic is simple. Magic is simply what you do every day, movement of energy. That is all magic is. So when she is exposed to that, when she is exposed to that type of magic, what she needs to do is realize that the person is doing nothing wrong. Jeff did nothing wrong to her. She needs to look inside of herself. The words you use onto other people, when you look at the universe, when you look at everything in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency, you start to see it in a whole completely different spectrum. But you see, what happens is Sarah doesn't realize that Jeff did nothing wrong. So what she does is she overthinks and she puts it in her mind and she constantly thinking about the past. You can't change the past. Do not give it your energy. You don't know the future. Do not give it your anxiety. So what she needs to do is she needs to find that thing that makes you smile. What makes you smile, baby? If you can't find that, you will forever be in a state of lack. Or you will forever be in a state of unfulfillment. You will forever be in a state of unhappiness. If you are in a state of unhappiness when you're constantly on the past, you will live there. You will live there and you will stay there unless you change the spell. What do I mean by changing the spell? Well, in math, at least I hope everyone knows this, you have a plus and a negative, right? If the negative is greater than the positive, the number is a negative. The outcome, the equal sign, is a negative. If the positive is greater than the negative, you come out with a positive sign. So find something that makes you smile to become greater than the negative that you are experiencing. If you find that thing, like for example, Sarah, let's go back to Sarah. Sarah's biggest fan. I have a guitar back there. What if Sarah started to do some research in her own life and she's just trying to explore herself? And she found out that she liked playing the guitar. You see, when you replace yourself, when you replace that energy that you are giving to the other person, that negative energy, with something positive, you start to change the whole situation. So instead of giving that energy to that person that was negative, you start to give your energy to something that was positive, thus making the outcome positive. But maybe that's not enough. Maybe that's not enough for her. Find something else that makes you smile. Whatever makes you smile, that's what the fuck you came here to do on this planet. When you were in the womb as a baby, do you think your mother birthed your soul? No. You see, what they else don't tell you is that you choose your experience on this planet, but I'm not going to get into that. But when you are a baby and you are learning, you're going through life. But when you're let's say 18-year-old, how the hell do you know what makes you happy? Because of your past lives. But I'm also not going to get into that. Because that's some deep stuff. That's some deep stuff. And really, that's later. But you see, there is always something in everybody on this planet that can make you smile. Why do you think we have careers? There's always something out there. You just gotta find it, Sarah. If you can find it, I promise you, you will not be giving your time and energy to something that happened in the past. You will not be giving your time and energy to something that will happen in the future. or may happen in the future. It's not worth your time. You see, negative energy stays the more you give it. The more you give it, the more it will stay and grow. Negative energy is like a fire. Positive energy is like the water. Bruce Lee once said, flow like water. Be like water. When you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. When you pour water anywhere, it becomes where it is in every coming present moment. You see, when Kate, not Kate, I'm sorry, Kate. I don't know why your name just popped up, but when Sarah looks at the present instead of looking at the past and the future, she starts to realize that she is learning a lesson. She starts to realize that Jeff did nothing wrong. And she starts to realize that the negative energy that she is giving that other person is completely useless. But when she's looking at the past, oh, he did this to me. Oh, I'll never forget him, blah, blah, blah. Or in the future, oh, he could do this to me. Or he might do this to me. Or he might have someone else do this to me. No. You see, none of that bullshit exists in the present moment. Flow like water. Flow like water, like Bruce Lee said. Become the positive energy that you were born to be. Don't become the negative fire that is just trying to grow and grow and grow. You see, why do we overthink so much? I don't know if you guys know why you guys do what you do. But I believe that we overthink so much because of focus. Think of focus like gasoline. When you pour gasoline on a fire, what does the fire do? The fire grows. So what happens when you pour gasoline onto negative energy? It will only grow. It will only grow. So why we overthink is because we're constantly giving it our focus. Switch your focus onto something that makes you smile. That's how you change the spell. You're putting water over the fire. That's why you gotta find something that makes you smile, and you now have a positive that's greater than a negative. When you look in the present, you can literally do anything. You can literally do anything. Is that not an oxymoron though? Because if you change your focus, then you're just diverting the overthinking. It's more like, it's not like you're trying to escape the overthinking. You see, overthinking may and always be there, and negative energy may and always will be there. But what I'm trying to say is, the more you give it your focus, the more it will grow. So ask yourself, do you really want to be there? If you change your focus onto something that makes you smile, you find out that it's much more worthwhile to be there instead of being in that overthinking position. So you can say it how you want it, but I'm trying to explain on how to get over it. You gotta get over that bullshit. You gotta get over that. Because if you don't, you will constantly live there, and then you will end up being burnt in that fire. Like I said, negative energy is like a fire, and that focus you give it is like that gasoline. Do not give it more gasoline and then end up engulfed in the fire, because you will see yourself burnt on the other side. Now, what happens? What happens on the universal plane? That's actually not a plane. What happens in the universe when you are constantly embodying negative energy like this? You see, when you are constantly in the past of what happened, or that argument in the past. Now, I know me. Sometimes I be in the shower and I'm thinking about the past. I don't know why. We're in the shower, just random thoughts come up. Shower thoughts. Random thoughts just come up. And sometimes, I'll have a little memory of what I did something in the past. But what happens when you are constantly thinking about that? And it may be an argument that happened in the past, or it may be something someone did to you in the past, and maybe it wasn't good. What happens when you put out that negative energy in your mind? It goes outside into the world. You attract what you are, not what you want. That's the law of attraction. So understand, if you embody negative energy by constantly thinking about the past, you will become that negative energy and you will attract it in your world. You will attract everything you are in your world on the inside world, and your outside world would match that. For example, in my previous video, I was talking in terms of when someone is having an argument and starting an argument with you. The problem is not you. The problem is what's happening on the inside of the person that started the argument. The problem is not the person who they come after. The problem is they are feeling anger inside. Whenever you feel anger inside, your world on the outside will mirror that same world. Understand that whatever happens on the inside will happen outside. So Sarah, what you need to do, Sarah's not a real person, by the way. You need to start looking within, and how you do that, like I said, become present. Find what makes you smile. Learn from the lesson, extract the lesson, and put it on into your next relationships. You need to realize that nothing on the outside has the power to change your inside condition. Jeff has no power over you, and Sarah, you have no power over Jeff. But do not give him your power by letting him live in your mind rent-free. Free your damn mind. Free your goddamn mind. And that's how you do it. Now, you see, I went into the woman at first. I went into Sarah at first. I'm going to go into the men. Now, you see, for me personally, I never had a problem with getting over those types of things. I never had a problem. It was kind of like simple. That must be because of my astrological chart. But for men, from what I've seen in my experiences when I was with my old friends, well, not my old friends, with the old friends that I was experiencing with in high school. One person that I'll always remember him. He always had trouble with women. He always did. And I'm not going to say his name because I don't expose anybody. He always had trouble with women. And every time a girl or whatever came up to him and, gave him his attention, gave him their attention, blah, blah, blah. He thought they liked him, blah, 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 blah. But they never end up dating. Or they never end up working out. But you see what Mason... Ooh, I just said his name. Oops. Let's cut that out. Let's cut that out. Oops. You see, but what he doesn't realize is that the problem is not them. So what he started to do was... Let's cut that out. Can we cut that out? I can read your mind. That's why it came out. No! Get out of my mind. You see, but what he doesn't realize is that it's not the people on the outside that's changing his world. It's not the people on the outside making him mad. It's all of him on the inside fueling his rage. You see, so what he would do is he would constantly think about that person, and it would constantly be on his mind, constantly, for years. For years. Some people don't get over anything for 50 years. That's a narcissist. They never get over anything. But I'm not going to get into that. You see, he was on it for years. I hope we can get rid of that, because I don't want to expose anybody. I'm going to clip that out. I don't know if I can. I don't know how to work Twitch. But you see, he was on it for years. And what he didn't realize was that he was fueling it for years and years and years and years. And he never understood why it kept being there. So what I would tell him, let's call him George. Let's call him George. And let's bring back Sarah. So George is in a relationship, and Sarah breaks up with George. But then what Sarah tells me is that, oh, he was just weird. He was just this, that. He was just not my type, blah, 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 blah. There was just so many issues. But then what George tells me is she hates me. You see, two different stories. I know, I see this in so many relationships. Two different stories. That's why you got to get both sides of the coin. Never just listen to one person. You see, that story and that story. But when you really look at it, they're both blaming the other person. That's the problem. They're not looking within. But we're not on Sarah right now. We're on George. So what does George need to do? Because Sarah's still on his mind after they broke up. After she broke up with him. Mason, oh my gosh, I said his name again. Bro, at this point, I don't even know anymore. But George, what he needs to do is he needs to realize first, like I said, it's the same thing. there is a lesson to be learned. Don't tell him. Don't tell him. Don't tell him. He first needs to realize that there is a lesson to be learned. And if he does not realize that there is a lesson to be learned, he will forever constantly blame the other person for his lack. You see, for men, it's a little different. Woman and man get into relationships for different reasons. And maybe I'm going to get into a video. That's a very controversial video. I expect a lot of people to be, getting into the chat and, saying their opinion, because I love to see other people's opinions. But maybe I'm going to get into why women and men cheat into the next video. I don't know. But you see, what he has to realize, what George has to realize, she doesn't think like you. And you don't think like her. So do not blame her for what happened in your life. And when you blame the other person, that person forever stays in your mind. So what does he need to do? What George needs to do is he needs to communicate. This is what he needs to do. He needs to go up to Sarah and get the lesson. He needs to extract it. So what he needs to do is he needs to go up to Sarah and say, why? Simply just why. But before he does that, he needs to quiet the anger, quiet the hate, quiet the ego inside first, before he can get into a heart connection with the other person. He first needs to look at himself, quiet the ego, and go to the other person. Don't throw plates and don't throw jabs. Don't throw, you're this and that, blah, 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 blah. No, he needs to communicate with Sarah. Why? Why did you do what you did? Tell me so I can become a better man. Tell me so I can become a better man. And when he does this, it becomes so much more powerful, because now he's not blaming the other person, but he is now looking within himself, and he's taking the situation, the whole situation, and he's using that to better his life so he won't up another relationship. Why? Why did you do what you did? He needs to let Sarah give her input and not interrupt her. Let her speak. Let her talk. And then he needs to say, thank you. Say nothing. Nothing. Because the problem is you. She may not have looked at herself. And that's okay, because I'm only talking about him. He needs to look at himself and just listen. Just listen. Take the lesson and then move on. When you move on and you get that clarity through communication, that person can leave your mind, because now you have the answer. You see, for men, I believe women stay on our mind because we don't have clarity. And I believe it's the same for women, but I think there's a different solution for women, because women are more emotional than men. We're more of logic. So we think more in terms of logic. Women are more emotional, so it's kind of a different formula, I guess you should say, from what I have seen. But for a man, if he can get the answer, he can look at it from a logical standpoint and just say, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to compose myself in the next relationship, so I won't in the next relationship. Get the answer, get that clarity you need, and then move on. You see, this is what I had to do. It was a little bit simpler for me, but I know not everyone is me. Not everyone thinks like how I do. Not everyone feels like how I do. Not everyone goes around in the world like how I do. I am not at the center of the universe. I am only a fragment of a fragment of a fragment of a fragment of a fragment in this universe. So I know I'm not the only one who goes through this, but I know some people may have different experiences. But what he needs to do is he needs to take the lesson through communication and shut the hell up. Let her speak. Because a lot of men from what I have seen, they don't want to see the woman talk. Because they're so strapped up in their ego, they don't want to hear the woman talk. And when you don't let the woman talk, you don't get the lesson. Get the lesson through communication. When you communicate with Sarah, George, you become whole better. You become better and better and better and better and better, because now you can apply that into the next relationship. Now what you need to do after that, get on your grind, baby. Get on your grind, baby. Because you see, what happens when in a man's eyes, what happens in a man's life is our main purpose is to pursue our purpose and to become the best man that we can be. That is the best thing as a man you can do. I recommend the book, The Way of the Superior Man. I don't know the author, but recommended to me by Nipsey Hussle. Fantastic man. Rip R.I.P. to him. This book goes into that the sole purpose and the sole reason why men are on this earth is to pursue their purpose. But what is your purpose? You have to find that out yourself. You have to find that out yourself because no one can tell you your purpose. The only one who can tell you your purpose is you once you find it. Once you find your purpose as a man, then you will become the best man that you can be. And you will not have these problems with these relationships because the woman that you are supposed to be with will find you. And on this planet, women choose the relationship, not the man. Man don't get anything. Women don't get anything. Women choose. So understand that if you are becoming the best man that you can be, if you are embodying your purpose, if you are pursuing your purpose or what you came here to do on this planet, the woman who respects you for who you are and wants to be with you and wants to share that life with you and sees that you are on your grind will come, and it will be the proper woman. Do not seek, you will not find. Seek within yourself and everything will come to you. Do not seek, you will not find. Seek within yourself and everything will come for you. When George does this, after he gets his clarity, once he gets his clarity, he then realizes that he doesn't need Sarah to make him happy. When you realize that all you need to do is just work on yourself, you don't need someone else to make you happy. There's a quote in a book. It's called The Book of the Way by Tao Te Ching, which is also called The Way or the Tao. It says, seek fulfillment in others and you forever become their prisoner. Care what other people think and watch your heart wither. Find fulfillment in yourself and your heart will forever be fulfilled. When George does this and he realizes that he doesn't need the other person to make him happy, to make him fulfilled, to make him feel that desire that he wants for himself, he doesn't need someone else. He's on his grind right now. He gets that person out of his mind because the only mind he has to give attention to is himself. Give the attention that you want from someone else to yourself. And you will find that you don't need anybody else to give you a certain feeling. You do not need anyone else on this planet other than you to give you that state of happiness that you find within you. Happiness is an inside job. It's not an outside job. That's why money can't make you happy. That's why the best Ferrari can't make you happy. That's why the biggest house can't make you happy. That's why the best woman, if you're a man, can't make you happy. That's why the best man, if you're a woman, can make you happy. Happiness is an inside decision. So what he needs to do is he needs to be happy with himself first in his purpose, and then he will get that other person out of his mind. But then what he will also find is that the universe, the lovely universe, loves to send you people who are the same or someone worse just to make sure you learned your lesson. But George needs to prepare for himself because while he's working on himself and not seeking, the universe will bring you someone else just to confirm. So what happens now, see what happens now, we have George and we have Jesse. All these random names I'm just putting up. So now we're in relationship 2. But now since George is working on himself and he doesn't need anybody else, and he has realized that, and he has got his clarity from the other relationship, he can now put it into this relationship. But understand that he is not seeking to find Jesse anymore. He is only seeking to find himself. Jesse comes. That's how it works. Find yourself, and whoever you are will come to you. You attract who you are, not what you want. Understand, I don't think it happens the other way around. I don't think so. Could be wrong. But according to that book, it doesn't really happen the other way around. See, in women's minds, and this is very controversial, but I'm going to go into it deeper into the next video. I think I'm going to talk about that, why women and men cheat. In women's minds, or maybe on another day, a Sunday, I don't know. In women's minds, they are trying to find the best man for their kids. That's why a lot of guys don't get chosen by a lot of females, because in their mind of what their definition of a man is does not suit their needs for a child. You see, a woman may say, I don't want kids, or I can't have kids, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter if she can't have kids. Subconsciously, she is still looking for the best man for her kids. So if George is working on himself and becoming the best man for him, someone who respects him, someone who sees that, someone who loves that, someone whose definition of a man fits that description will come. Work on yourself, and the person who are you supposed to be with will come. Understand, that is how it is for men. I'm not sure if this is the same way for women, because usually, even since back then times, it's always been the woman taking care of the kids, and the men, worked, fulfilled their purpose. Like I said, fulfilled their purpose. Women have purpose, but it's not the same thing like men. I could be wrong, but I'm just looking at history. Women have stayed home and took care of the kids, and men have went out and worked and did their purpose and put food on the table, blah, 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 paid for bills, blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing now. You see, we men in this society nowadays, we have took away from that. We have took away from that aspect, and now our men are doing nothing. They're doing nothing with their life. That makes the woman not respect the man. What happens when the man does not respect himself? Everyone else on the outside disrespects him. The only way to gain true respect in yourself is you have to work on yourself. You have to find your purpose. You have to find what it is you came here to do on this planet. And you need to make sure it makes you smile, baby. If you can do that, everyone will respect you. Whenever you work, make sure it makes you happy. As a man in this world, I'm getting deep into this. I'm going to get into it definitely into the next video. You see, as a man, you must find your purpose. You must pursue that purpose 100%, because if you don't, nobody will respect you. So like I said to George, to get this person off your head, find your goddamn purpose and just pursue it, and stop looking for fulfillment in others. You see, as from what I have seen in my age group, I'm 20. In my age group, we go into other relationships for instant gratification. What do I mean by instant gratification? I don't know where everyone lives. I don't know. But from my experience, I used to live in Florida, in the Broward area. And I would see all the time guys getting into flings or one-night stands or just one-time relationships with a female, and it would end up constituting sex. And then what happens? They get a baby. Now you see, it's okay for a baby to happen in a relationship as long as you both love each other. But what happens is, when you are doing this to yourself, when you are having these flings, when you are doing your business, blah, 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 you are not pursuing your purpose. Thus, in turn, you are distracted. Thus, in turn, if you are distracted by another woman, people will not respect you. On the subconscious level, no one's going to tell you that. No one's going to tell you, I spit on my mic, that they don't respect you. But what happens is people will show you, if in their mind, that they don't respect you. Like I said before, everything on the internal world happens on the outside world. Whatever you show on the internal world will be mirrored on the outside world. So if someone doesn't respect you, it's because in their mind, they don't respect you. If they show that they don't respect you, it's because in their mind, they don't respect you. So when you are doing this, you are not on your purpose. And when you are not on your purpose, you are distracted. Thus, no one respects you. And thus, when no one respects you and you are looking for that instant gratification, you will constantly be thinking about something on the outside of you, or the someone on the outside of you. You'll constantly be thinking that. And when you are ignoring the inside of you by looking on the outside of you, you never become your true powerful self. You never become it because you're distracted by something on the outside. So when we're going out looking for instant gratification, oh, let me get a quick nut in. Oh, let me get a quick 50 in. Quick 50 seconds in. Quick minute in. What happens when something happens? What happens if you get that person pregnant? What happens if something happens in terms of relationship happening, and then it just really wasn't going to work out? You're not learning the lesson. The lesson was that you need to chill out. You need to chill out, baby. You need to be on your purpose. Always 100%, and the only thing you should be on. So how do you get rid of past things that happen in, not even in a relationship, in simple friendships? Like I said before, if you are in a friendship with someone else in the past, and maybe they did you wrong, blah, 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 blah. You guys were friends for so long, but all of a sudden they do you wrong, blah, 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 blah. You have to decide in yourself if you want to forgive that person, first of all. You need to also second devise if that person is actually your friend. Because someone who is friends with you for so long is not your friend. Understand that they may only be here for the party. And if they are only here for the party, but not here to bring you up when you're down, that is not your friend. So if you are in a past friendship with anybody and maybe they did you wrong after a long time, understand, first, you need to ask yourself, do I really want to forgive this person? But only forgive this person if they are worth it. And if they are worth it, that means they're your friend. But you need to devise in yourself, in your mind, you need to ask yourself if that person is worth it. Because you should not be giving your energy, your time, your overthinking, your anxiety to someone else who is out chilling at the bar, drinking a pina colada, not giving a damn about you. If you are giving your time and energy to someone who doesn't give a damn about you, what you are doing is you're exhausting yourself. Become present and ask yourself, do I really need to forgive this person? Are they my friend? Do they help me? Do they ever give to me? Are they really worth being in my presence? You need to ask yourself these questions, because when you constantly overthink about what happened, oh, they did this to me, they treated me like this, blah blah blah, they did this to me one time and it was just too much, oh, they told this person that, or they spreaded a rumor, blah 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 blah. Are they worth it? Are they your friend? Are they worth forgiving? Are they worth anything to give a damn about? Are they worth living in your mind instead of caging it? Because when you are giving them your energy, you are literally putting a cage in your mind. And you let them do that. You let them put a cage in your mind. Free your goddamn mind by asking yourself these questions. And then once you start asking yourself these questions, baby, you can become free in your mind. Because that's what I talk about. I only talk about freeing the mind. I don't care about the physical. I'm on the mind here. We need to free our minds of the people that don't matter, especially of the people that don't matter, because they are the people that we mostly overthink about, and they are the people that we mostly give our negative energy to. They are the people that we mostly give energy to. They are the people who are only here for the party. Understand that if someone is only here for the party, they are not here to bring you up when you're down. They only want to show up to the party, but not help set up. They only want to experience the party and leave when it's over, but not clean up. If you are around someone like that, they are not your friend. Understand that. And you need to ask those questions. And when you do that, when you ask yourself those questions and you answer them with yourself by looking within yourself, by becoming present, they leave. they leave. They leave. You need to think of your mind like a door where you don't need to do anything I say. Nothing I say, no one should just believe. I'm simply just spreading my insight and my experience through my life onto you guys, and you guys take it how you want it. But think of your mind like a door. On the inside of your mind is you. But all this overthinking and all these thoughts and all this blah, 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 blah that the other person is trying to put onto you is on the other side of that door. Everyone else that you may be thinking about, overthinking about the past, giving your anxiety to the future is on the other side of that door. But when you're constantly overthinking, when you are constantly overthinking and constantly giving them your energy, you slip the keys under the door and you give it to them. And they enter in through that door and have a party in your mind. Do not let someone have a party over your mind. Keep the damn keys in your pocket, hidden away, and leave them at the door. Leave them at the door, and that's how you do it. That's how you get over a friend. You need to ask yourself those questions. When you ask yourself those questions, you become liberated. When you become liberated, then you start to look at things differently. You start to look at things differently, and you can learn a lesson. Three Eyes Ann. How did you made the account. Well, what did you learn, man? What did you learn? Share, man. I also got to look up a word really quick. Wait, what was the word? I also forgot. I just forgot. I just forgot what I was going to look up. But I knew I had to look up something. But what did you learn? You want to share? Honestly, better. People will see this in the chat. What will you do to better yourself from now on, starting today? I want to be able to do this in every chat because people need to become better every day. People need to realize that they can become anything and everything at the same time because they are limitless. And if you don't ask yourself, what will you do better yourself today, right now, if you don't do that, then how are you going to evolve? So like I said before, in your friend group, with that friend that you had before, ask yourself those questions to liberate your mind, and then that person will go. There are so many other things you could do. You could also go into changing in your environment, but maybe that's not the thing that people can really do. So you can really start with looking within. When you look within and you ask yourself those questions, because those are very powerful questions, you can get answers. And when you get those answers, you liberate your mind. Now, maybe I'll make a part 2 of this. Maybe. I don't know. But another thing you could do is you change your environment. You see, especially when people get into relationships with dating each other, blah, 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 blah. They live in the same environment that they are trying to get away from, or they live in the same environment that hurt them in the first place. I put those people I used to be friends with in a box in my mind, and I forgot about them. Good. Exactly. That is what you need to do. That is what you need to do, because if you let them come in through that door, they'll take the keys and they'll throw it out the window. And you can never open that door to let them out because you keep giving them the keys. So, you have to get rid of them. Get rid of them out of your mind. Like I said before, if you change your focus onto something that makes you smile, you can overrule the negativity. Because now you are looking within yourself and you are bettering yourself by looking within. But you could also change your environment. You could also change your environment because, like I said before, let me give you an example. If Jeff broke up with Sarah, Sarah lives in her house, right? But Jeff bought her a teddy bear. What Sarah is doing, and what she may not realize, is she is feeding her senses proof and memories of the relationship that she was in the past. She is feeding herself that proof through her 5 senses. The teddy bear that Jeff bought her will make her go into that state again, and thus giving Jeff the keys to her mind. What happens when she looks at this teddy bear? She starts to go through memories of what happened, of the bad times, or maybe the good times, but then she always will revert back to the bad times, and then she'll end up overthinking, and then she'll end up having all these emotions and these thoughts and constant things going up to her mind. It's because something in her environment gave her a sudden cue in her mind, thus making a response and then giving the reward. That's how habits are created. But for this, that teddy bear made a certain cue happen in her mind, and thus she started to remember all the bullshit from back then. All the bullshit. She started to remember it, and now she's overthinking it, and she can't get that person out of her head. It's because she needs to get rid of the environment that put her there in the first place. PTSD. Ooh, I don't want to say that. Ooh, PTSD. You know, let's look up that real quick. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Let's look that up. The teddy was a trigger. The teddy was a trigger. Oh, the chat does come up now. Good. PTSD. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Yes, we know that. Let me get rid of this. A disorder in which a person has difficulty recovering after experiencing or witnessing a terrifying event. The condition may last months or years, with triggers that can bring back memories of the trauma accompanied by intense emotional and physical reaction. Symptoms may include nightmares. Yes, most army people go through this. And it's not easy. But you see, where do you think those triggers come from? Those triggers are coming from your environment. You gotta change your environment, and thus you will change your inside world. But there can be no change on the outside unless one makes that change in the inside. Post-traumatic stress disorder, they make all these disorders and they give you pills, but they never tell you to look within. They never tell you to meditate. They never tell you to start eating better, because the foods you eat actually have the power to change your thoughts and emotions, but I'm not going to get into that. They don't tell you the useful stuff that you need to actually change your life. And with all these triggers in her environment, Sarah, with all these triggers in her environment, she would get memories and thoughts and start overthinking and all these emotions of what happened in a relationship and why it was so bad. So change your environment if you want to get someone off your mind. Get rid of the environment that you were there in the first place to change your present condition. So Sarah, you need to get rid of the teddy bear. Anything that is proof or anything that is evidence of what happened in the past, of a memory you don't want to remember, get rid of the cues in your environment. That's how I was with my ex. I had to trash all the materials. There you go. And once you do that, out of sight, out of mind. I know everyone heard that before. Out of sight, out of mind. It's very true. Because whatever is fed through your 5 senses goes into your sub-mind. If it's not in your 5 senses, it's out of your sub-mind. So you need to get rid of the teddy bear out of your sub-mind. And thus, in turn, the memory of that person will start to leave. Jeff will start to leave. Those emotions will start to leave. The negative energy will start to leave. And all of that relapse will start to leave because you're in a different environment. But not only do you need to change your environment by getting rid of the teddy, you need to also replace that environment with the world you want to be in. And the world you want to be in is the world that makes you smile. This is called alchemy, making the best out of the worst and never allowing external events to govern your internal condition. when you start to do this type of magic, you become powerful beyond being. Because now you start to realize that the power was in you all along. The power was in you all along. You get rid of the teddy bear and you replace your whole environment with the world you want to be in. And you will become happy. And you will get that person out of your mind, and you will start to change how you see the world. You will start to change how you see your world. You will start to change how you see yourself. You will start to live life differently, and you'll become powerful. Sarah, I'm gonna give you some grace, Sarah. You've been going through a lot. You too, Jeff. You just tripping. George, I'm gonna give you some grace over there. You've been going through quite a bit. And we really need to change. As a human society, we really need to look within ourselves, because we don't. I think the biggest thing to change on what people do in your mind, or what people affect you, on how people affect you, a lot of it can be changed by changing yourself and looking within yourself. And when you do that, you start to realize the power was in you all along, and nobody on the outside has any power over you to change your outside world, to change your inside world. It's the trash that they give us to dumb us down. Well said. You see, and I might get into that. The trash. Maybe that will just be not even a how-to. It would be more like a you've been lied to video. Maybe it could get very controversial, but maybe we should. It could get very controversial. You know what? I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna write it down in the list. I'm gonna think about it. But the hour has come, and all of you guys who have joined the chat, appreciate you guys. Much love to you guys all, and always make sure to look within yourself. And what will you do to better yourself right now? What will you do? And I hope you guys gain some insight and value of that. And you guys have a good ass day, and I'll see you in the next stream. Namaste. Namaste. Ciao.